Well, looking, our esteemed audience knows that we're speaking in general terms, but to give us some idea, let's say, okay, we've got, let's say $20,000 that we're going to put down. So what does that campaign look like? We're going to even put the specific parameters. It's going to be a middle grade book. What does a campaign for a middle grade book, and I don't know about talking animals, because I've got a middle grade book about talking animals. What does that campaign look like? And when do I know whether or not I have achieved a successful investment of my $20,000?
So, I guess to answer the last part of your question first, whether you've, achieved a successful investment, that's basically going to be like, okay, again, what are your goals here? Like, are we meeting those goals? And because that's how we put together proposals, is trying to meet the goals that you have. So you have a substantial backlist, and you have long-term author, goals. And so I think that we're not only going to be thinking about this singular book, but we're also going to be thinking about you as an author. So that proposal is going to look a little bit different. But in general terms, I'm actually going to pull up a proposal so I can kind of go through it. We have a section called industry guidance, and basically that is general terminology for we are available to answer your questions, because you're going to have a lot of questions. You may not have as many as maybe a first-time author, but you're going to have people that say, do you want to run this promotion for $90? Reach out to you. So we're a good place for you to go and say, is this worth it? And we'll say, they just started a month ago, probably not. Or yes, this is in a very established book tour company. I think it's totally worth it to get signed up for one of those. We also do your press kit. We help you look through maybe your website and say like, or do a website audit and say like, okay, I think if you want to keep things really cohesive, we talk about color scheme, font, basics of design, and talk about keeping that cohesive across not only your website, but your social media profiles as well. We put together pitch angles that we think are going to be really good for your book and kind of a way to sell your book. And we put together a target list. And basically what that is we're going to reach out to obviously book bloggers and book influencers about reading and reviewing your book, but we're also going to talk to you about writing guest articles for different outlets and publications. So that may be Writer's Digest. It may be, Mr. Shoe Reads or something like that for a middle grade book. So trying to think about opportunities that are not just reviews of your book, but also building your SEO, so when people search for your name, it's coming back with great results, just pages and pages of reviews of your book, interviews that you've done, guest articles that you've written, things like that. And sometimes it's helpful, that kind of thing is helpful to reach a wider audience, because if we reach out to a website that doesn't necessarily do book reviews, but they might take a guest article from you, that's going to be reaching a different audience than maybe a book review website will be. So that's what we're trying to do, is kind of spread you all over the internet. We'll reach out to local media, places that you live near, or if you live in a different place and you still have strong ties to your hometown, we can reach out to those places. Or if your book is like set in the South and has really strong Southern connections, we can reach out to Southern publications. That can be really helpful. We also talk about, Goodreads and other sites like that, Storygraph, Readerly, getting your book on there, making sure that your profile is optimized as well as your book profile. We can talk to our digital team about social media ads, reader newsletters, Amazon ads, things like that. And that can be for your current book, but also for your backlist titles, because giving those a boost will inevitably help your current release as well. We also do book mailings, and that always includes a handwritten note, but we can also talk about, especially for like a fun middle grade title, fun swag items to send out. And so we can send you lots of different ideas, different price points, to help people get excited about the book and help the book stay on their mind. And so once we kind of put that together, all the plans together in the first month, then we start pitching, coordinating coverage, things like that, as we work our way through the target list and kind of figure out, okay, yes, this is working, let's focus here, or this isn't working, are there different outlets we should be trying, or is this just kind of a dead end, let's pivot and try something else.
I don't even know it's not working. You're just not getting the responses from the people that you're looking for.
Yeah. And sometimes it's timing, sometimes it's, a different book that's similar came out. But we always pivot and figure out, okay, let's find secondary contacts at these places, or, let's focus on radio instead, because we are getting so much interest from radio. So let's focus there and really expand there, since it's going really well.
Gotcha. I'm assuming radio includes podcast or local television shows, if you can.
Yep. Absolutely.
Gotcha. Okay. And so this proposal to this author package that we're going to put together and we're going to send out to all these people. I'm assuming that when you write out to any book promoter, book person, you're going to refer to them by their name. Hopefully, you've established some kind of relationship with them.
Yes. And so, we do, obviously, having worked in the industry for 22 years, have a lot of great contacts, but we also do new research for each book that we start working on, because we want to find, because every book has different angles, and we want to find the best people to reach out to for that book. So, I might say, oh, immediately, like, I know, Lakita is going to be interested in this book, but I also want to find new people that are going to be interested in the book that I don't know about yet. So how we pitch them very much depends on previous relationship, or if we don't have a previous relationship, okay, here's why I think you'd be interested in this book, basically. We're very, very personal with how we pitch each outlet, so that they know that we're not just, shooting fish in a barrel. We're really thinking that this is going to be a great fit for them, and telling them why.
And Books Forward would never do this, because this is one of the reasons I was so excited to talk with you, because I've been approached by enough publicists now. You start to get a sense of who's a good publicist and who has room to grow. And anytime I get something that just says "Dear Editor" or "Dear Content Producer," all right, well, that's already, unless the book that's listable, I always scroll down just a little bit. Have you got an amazing book, or is it an author I've heard of? Nope. And get out of here. I feel no compulsion to respond to you. If you've used my name and you mention my website, I at the very least feel obligated to write you an email stating why I'm not interested in pursuing the project for now.
Right.
Just for any publicist out there listening, wondering, why didn't Rob Kent ever get back to me? Well, did you call me Dear Editor? Next time, call me Rob.
Yeah. And it's, my heart goes out to those people, because I know it's like some people are just time wise, and, and the amount of clients they have, it is tough. But yeah, that is something that we are super, super passionate about. And it's like one of our main focuses is personalizing each pitch. Because, we just know from experience, you don't get the same kind of response when you form pitch people as you do when you really personally pitch people and reach out to them and let them know why you're passionate about this book.
You might get lucky if it's a book that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
I'll look past the Dear Editor. It's fine.
But you never know.
I'm not interested. I'm not going to write you first. But what really breaks my heart is the people who send me physical books without checking with me first to see if it's like, I'll get adult books. Like, okay, well, I might read that later for fun, but I'm not going to promote it.
Right.
Just wasted part of an author's budget. Don't do that.
Yes. And I will get those occasionally too, like just as a Bookstagrammer, and I'm like, oh, I'm never going to read this. Why? Because how much money it costs, and it's like, it breaks my heart, but like, I can't, I have no interest in this book.
It makes me popular because I know lots of children who love to receive ARCs that I have no interest in.
Yep.
What else am I going to do with it? If you want to read it, great, try and post a review. let's get them something for this.
Yeah.
So, okay, you put together the pitch proposal that's going to come out. It says, "Dear Rob Kent, my author is interested in appearing at Middle Grade Ninja. What, bare minimum, what do you want to tell me or whoever else about the book and about the author?"
Oh gosh, writing a pitch is definitely an art form. Everybody's pitches look different, which as they should, because everybody has a different style. I was a copy editor, so mine are very short and edited. And other people's are longer, and every kind of outlet is going to be different. If I'm approaching an outlet about interviewing you, I'm obviously going to talk more about like, okay, what does Rob want to talk about? the book will be on the list, but there's also other things. You may want to talk about, being a podcast host and other interests, or other specific parts of the book, or why you wrote it, or your author journey. Whereas if it's simply about the book, I'm going to try and highlight maybe comp titles, but unique things about the book. Why is this book going to be interesting to people, and why are people going to want to read it? So, there's a whole art of crafting a catchy headline, and then writing kind of a hook sentence to grab people's attention, because I tend to not give people the benefit of the doubt and assume that they're going to be bored like 2 sentences in. So I try and like get information in there as quickly as I can. And then I tell them what my ask is. What am I asking of them? I'm asking them to review the book, or I'm asking them to interview you, or I'm asking them to run a guest article, or whatever the case may be. And then we always include a link to the press kit the press folder, which has the press kit, but also downloadable headshot, downloadable book cover, any other kind of materials. Like if it's a middle grade book with illustrations, we may have like downloadable illustrations of the characters or something like that.
And you're sending me a link to or whoever, you're sending a link to go to receive that information, as opposed to an attachment there on the email, or both?
Yes, and it does come across sometimes in Google Drive as an attachment, but for the most part, it's we link them to that folder so that they can kind of pull whatever they may need.